Descendants of the people killed at James Cook's first encounter were brought to tears as the British High Commissioner delivered her statement of regret to the hapū. History was made today as Laura Clarke delivered the message to iwi in Tūranganui-a-Kiwa for the atrocities committed during the first contact with Māori 250 years ago. Anusha Bradley was there.
At the outlook of Ruatanuika on Te Rangi-Maunga, the British High Commissioner was called to deliver her statement to the hapū of Ngāti One. It is where a statue stands of their ancestor, Te Maro. He was the first killed during James Cook's encounter with Māori in 1769. Laura Clarke expressed her sympathy and regret for what happened.
It is deeply sad that the first encounter happened in the way that it did. And to you, as the descendants of those killed, I offer my every sympathy. For I understand that the pain does not diminish with time.
She told hapū that although she's not a representative of the Queen, she is of her government and the countries it represents. And she hopes today marks a new relationship with Ngāti One.
I would like today to acknowledge the pain and to reach out to you in friendship and in the hope that in acknowledging the past we can forge a future relationship together. A relationship that pays homage to Aotearoa as your home, recognises the mana that is yours by birthright to this land, and builds a future together for the prosperity of all.
A Ngāti One spokesperson, Nick Tupara, says the site where the High Commissioner spoke is significant. It is where Te Maro would study the moon and the stars, and his statue overlooks what was formerly his gardens. Mr Tupara is hopeful today's speech is a sign of things to come.
A statement of regret suggests that there's an opening for some dialogue going forward. It suggests a possibility of a relationship, working together and growing together, helping each other out. And so I'm very optimistic that the statement of regret is a far more poignant opportunity for Ngāti One.
The British High Commission decided to make the statement after a call from Tūranganui-a-Kiwa iwi for an apology. Nick Tupara says Laura Clarke was bold in staying at the table to make it happen.
I'm certainly really heartened by her tenacity and her effort and just her passion to do something like that. Her day could have been a lot easier if she just well, okay, I'm going to step away from the table now, but she chose to sit there and continue on with the conversation.
Nick Tupara says although it's a historic day, he still feels Māori as he reflects on what his ancestors faced.
It's tinged with a little sadness. I grew up in a cook town, and in this town all of our ancestral stories were kept here at the marae, and you very seldom, if ever, had an opportunity to talk about those others who stood on the beach that day in 1769.
Meanwhile, the Minister for Crown Māori Relations, Calvin Davis, has acknowledged the significance of what's happened today, but says it's a matter for the British High Commission and iwi. Mr Davis says there were very early discussions about the New Zealand government also playing a role, but it was decided that was not appropriate.
We've said this is not it's nothing to do with us. The Crown didn't exist at the time. This is entirely an issue between the High Commission and the Tūranga iwi, and what the High Commission has to say to Tūranga iwi is entirely up to them.
The High Commissioner delivered 2 messages of regret. From the outlook at Te Tarangi, she then went to Whakatoa Marae, just outside of Gisborne, to speak to iwi members from Rongowhakata, Te Aitanga a Mahaki and Nai Tā Manuhiri. Kei te Tūranganui-a-Kiwa mo te hōtaka o te ahi, ko Anusha Bradley, ahau.